Hello, good morning. It's morning for me. I don't know what time it is for you. I'm Sam, I'm an artist, and I help other artists to grow in skills and confidence with my online drawing membership. And I also help other creatives to get started in their art business, turning a hobby into a business that you love every single day. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to deal with negativity online. I hope you enjoy the video. Now, this is something that we shouldn't have to deal with, but we do have to deal with. And the thing is that with anything that is far-reaching like social media, there's always going to be a disadvantage to the advantage that we can obviously reach a lot of people worldwide. It's never been able to happen before. If I think about my growing up, we just didn't have things like that. I'm 42 and we didn't have social media. We didn't have this reach. And in some ways, it's absolutely amazing. And in other ways, it just feels like people have got this confidence to be able to say things that are unkind that they just wouldn't say to your face. So it's a lot easier to sit behind your keyboard or your phone and say something unkind than it would be if you were looking that person in the eye and you said something really mean to them and you would feel their face drop. Hopefully you'd have more compassion than that. Now, there are some people that they're finding this a little bit of a game. You know, they actually go round and purposely say horrible things on your posts. And you can kind of almost tell who these people are because they probably post the same thing on quite a lot of different artists' work. So I've had my share of negativity. And I think it's all about how you look at it. Do you let it affect the rest of your day? Does it really knock your confidence? And are there ways that you can get around that and try and shift your perspective on this? So I'm a very highly sensitive person. I'm an introvert. I'm quite a private person. I feel things deeply and I think about things over and over afterwards. I think it's got a little bit better as I've got older. So if you are, in your 20s and 30s, then let that be a little bit of encouragement to you that it does get easier as you get older, I think. So I'm not one of those people that it's just water off a duck's back or I've got a really thick skin. I really don't. But I have learnt to deal with it in a way that I think is healthy. So I've had a couple of negative comments and it's been things like looking at a piece of my work. I drew a human eye and somebody said, oh, the pupil isn't in the middle, which is completely wrong. Perspective is wrong. And I felt a bit defensive to begin with. And actually they were completely right. But you feel that in your gut, don't you? You kind of think, oh no, I've done something wrong. And you just want people to be kind, I suppose, and accepting of it. But they were absolutely right. And I just said, I'm still learning. Every day's a school day. Thank you for pointing that out. So now when I draw an eye, I always make sure that the pupil's in the right place. So that was good. That was constructive criticism. Although you feel it in your gut to begin with, I moved on from that really pretty quickly. Somebody else said recently about my bear, there's something off with the look of it, of the ear. And, that's just their opinion. I did actually go back and look at the reference photo that I was working from, and it is kind of right, but it's also a splodgy kind of surrealistic drawing. So I'm sure that a real bear doesn't have splodges and drips all over it either. So in a way, I kind of had to take that with a pinch of salt because it's my interpretation of the bear. But how do you deal with it? What do you do? What should you do when somebody puts a comment that is a bit hurtful for whatever reason? And I've seen people have a lot worse than me. And I think the more you gain a bigger audience and the more you kind of reach a wider net of people, the more likely it is that you're going to have negativity. And my perspective, my biggest switch has been, oh, well, it's working. I'm reaching more people. So statistically, I'm bound to have the odd, bad grape. So that's my first point of call. Oh, it must be working. I'm reaching more people. So try and take a negative into a positive. But how do you deal with them? I tend to either say, thank you for pointing that out. I will change that. Or I don't respond. Now, I feel like when you're running a business, you need to be in a little bit of a different mindset than if it was just a personal account and you were putting your life out there. So for 15 or so years, I was a massage therapist, Pilates instructor and hypnotherapist, and I was seeing clients face to face. Now, they would come into my treatment room, and I would always be dealing or working on people with neck and back pain. So it was always like remedial massage. It was never the relaxing, don't say anything thing. So for the whole hour, we were having a chat. And there were some strong opinions in that massage room. You know, they would say things sometimes that I just didn't agree with to my core. But what do? Do I say, well, I don't think you're right there, and have a little bit of a discussion or an argument? No, because I am there to be impartial, I think. I'm there to be letting them let off steam. I'm not going to repeat it to anybody. What they say in that treatment room was completely private, and I was there to make them feel better and not to offload my opinions onto them or argue with them. And I feel like it's the same when you're in business. Yes, of course you need boundaries, and yes, of course you need to stand up for yourself. But I do feel like no response is still a response. You don't have to reply. You don't have to come up with a witty answer. You don't have to justify yourself. You just don't respond. If it gets nasty, then you immediately block, delete and block. That's always a way to deal with it. But I just think some people, yes, it's fine, it's constructive. I would never give constructive criticism unless somebody specifically asks for it, but some people feel like they need to for whatever reason. But I think no response is still a response, so I'm just not responding. And you are entitled to say what you want, but sometimes I think if you can't say anything nice, why do you need to say anything at all? And it says more about them than it does about you. I think it's all about perspective. It's all about how you can distance yourself a little bit, not take it so personally, because art is so personal. It's so personal. You put your heart and your soul into it, and you don't need to be taking on that. You don't need to be taking on other people's negativity that are doing it for a reaction, or, you know, it's just they're having a bad day, or they're doing it as a bit of a game. So it's not even personal. You know, they could have said the same thing to 59 different artists. Don't know where that number came from. So it's all about perspective. It's all about how can we shift that and not let it damage you, and more importantly, let it stop you from posting online, putting your stuff online, and growing as a business and growing as a creative. Don't let people hold you back and stop you. That's the most important thing. So it doesn't really matter what people say, but it matters how you then move forward. Do you let it go and just carry on, you being you, the perfectly imperfect version of you? Or does it knock you and then stops you doing it, and it makes you really think about posting again? So I think you do need to ask yourself that. And if it was the second one, then what can you do to make yourself feel better? And it's all about mindset. It's not about what they've said. It's about how you process it, which you have to do. Take a breath, take a step back, and then move on and not let it get to you anymore. So if you want any more help on this, if you're struggling with this, then please do send me a message or comment in the comments, because I'd be more than happy to help with that. I think it's important to lift each other up and give each other a boost of confidence and not knock each other down. But if you need any help with that, please do let me know. I hope you found this helpful and it's given you a boost. If you did like it, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. I put videos like this out every Friday, which is more business related, and every Tuesday I upload videos about art tips and more tutorials and more kind of practical advice in the art world. So thank you so much for watching and spending a little bit of time with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.